I love this camera. I really do. Hey, what's going on? It's Joe. Does stuff. 11:30 in the morning, starting a new video and getting ready to do lunch. I'm making some chicken stir-fry rice. Dealing with a bit of some indigestion, or what do you call that? The acid reflux, some shit type-ish. Heartburn. Just a bag of rice. A little prison meal action. We should do one of those. We really should. Yo, you know you're down bad in the health department when you got to take Tums at 11:30 in the morning. Who's doing that? Unc? Yeah, we're doing that. You and me, because we're all 40 here. All right, so hear me out on this. I was doing a little doom scrolling on the old TikTok, and hey, my For You page is way too local. Have y'all heard that saying before? My For You page is just a little too local. Yeah. So here's an ironic, crazy situation. That landscape job that we just wrapped up yesterday for a price that was way too low and we didn't get a tip on it. I think God wasn't happy about that, because that whole freaking neighborhood flooded last night with a torrential storm. I shit you not, and forgive me for the little religious joke right there. That was horrible. So all over my TikTok are videos of people showing their driveways. And tell me why I just pulled one of they moves, not your moves, one of they moves. You know, them type of people. Whoa, that sounds racist. The type of people, I should say, let me enunciate, who like to go through and pick out road signs of where I'm at and then call people and be like, that guy's a criminal. Folks, I just picked out a couple of road signs right here. I'm about to go look this shit up, and I hate to say it, but it's like when a storm comes, what do? You grab the chainsaw, you throw it in the back of the truck, and you go check the neighborhood out. The screwed up thing is I'm in no position to do any work today. Gene is recuperating. And man, I'm telling you, if I would have thrown that pressure washer in the back of the truck, and plus it's in the van and I don't feel like getting it, I want to eat my rice and chicken in a bag. Yo, them people need some work out there. And you know what's crazy is that particular TikTok only had one comment talking about where was this at. Not any kind of businesses being like, yo, let me come out there. I got you. Let me help you. Forgive the belly. That joint be protruding. But yo, you want to work, man. You become a storm chaser. That's what you do. You become a storm chaser. Damn, that's a lot of freaking food right there. Lunch is served. I won't bore you with mouth sounds and mukbangs. Let me eat my lunch and figure out where we're going. Hey there, it's 3:20 in the afternoon. Just got done doing a live stream, two of them actually. One on After Prison Show, one on Twitch. Both of them were pretty lit. I think they came out pretty good. And right now I'm getting ready to go look at this drywall job. I kind of got to hurry up because I got to get my son at 4. I got to get my wife at 4. Got to take her to go get her car. And I'm trying to think of the fastest way that I can get where I'm going. So yeah, we'll go look at this drywall job. So this is supposed to be a ceiling just like what we just did. I charged $1,400 on that particular job. I want to charge $1,900 on this one. And of course, I'm starting to second guess. Is that price going to be too high? Now, the crazy thing is I can't start this job until Wednesday of next week. I want the materials delivered. It's 10 boards. A ceiling is about 10 boards of drywall. What am I saying? 369? Actually, it's more than that. It's going to be 369. Yeah, I mean, about 10 boards, maybe 11. So let's just say it was 10 boards. You're looking at $190 a board. and that's hung and finished. You know, down in Florida, I just saw somebody say that they're charging $5 a board. All right, let's get where we're going and go see what this thing looks like. How much stuff is going to be in the way, too. How lived in is this space about to be? You know, there's going to be all sorts of shit that needs to get moved. All right, it's not going to be the whole ceiling, but it's probably going to be about an 8 by 8 foot section. Is what I would assume. Maybe not even that much. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little. Everything else seems pretty good. All right. All right. Just leaving from looking at that drywall repair, and it's not an entire ceiling, thank God, but it's probably about an 8 foot by 8 foot area. And I told the guy originally the price was, you know, like $700 for a 2 foot by 2 foot section. And I told him we just did an entire ceiling for $1,700. And, you know, so his price is going to definitely fall somewhere in between that. And I'm thinking about trying to give it to him for like, man, if we got to hang 2 boards of drywall and finish that shit with the freaking sand swirl, I'm going to need, $1,000 for that. Yeah, I think $1,000, and I mean, really, it could be even a little bit more than that. Like $1,100 is really a price that comes to mind. But it don't matter. If he's going to pay $1,100, $1,000 is fine. And I think that he would pay that. He's a very nice, sensible man. I really enjoyed meeting him, and he took me very serious. So if I told him $700 for, the 2 by 2 area, I think I'm going to tell him $1,000 for the 8 by 8, which that'll include materials, 2 days of work. Not a lot of materials are needed on that. Not a lot of materials are needed on that. But it could turn into a freaking can of worms. We can get up there and that shit is just a freaking mess. It's gonna be all plaster, going back with drywall. That's always fun. Yeah. We'll put together the proposal. Maybe we'll get it. Oh, I bought the goofy glasses. Damn. These are the goofies. The $3 goofs. Damn it. Tight squeeze here, boy. Tight squeeze here. All right, hey, what's going on? Saturday morning and getting the Dunkin' Donuts. A little Dunkin' Latte action and some donuts for my wife and son. I don't really be doing the donuts. You know, I'm a fat boy. But I don't really be doing the sweets, man. I be eating a lot of meat, no diddy. I'm kidding. I don't know what it is that makes me so damn big. Where it all went wrong weight-wise for me, but whatever. With this amount of work that we've been doing as of late, shit, I got to imagine I've at least lost a pound or 2. You know, a crazy side effect of heat stroke is hunger. I found myself with an insatiable appetite dealing with all that heat. And that would be like way later in the evening and at nighttime. But anyways, All right, so Saturday morning as I begin this sleepy little town, 8 o'clock in the morning, I got a job to go look at 10 o'clock for painting a, dude said it was a gazebo. I looked this house up on Google Earth. You gotta be a private eye with this shit. It's not a gazebo, it's a pergola. It's not a tuba. That's what that reminds me of. Paint a pergola and paint some, trim around some doors. I can't even really think about what I would put that price at. And I'm trying to figure that out. So I did put together the proposal for that drywall repair, assuming that it's gonna be about an 8x8 area, which is 2 full boards of drywall. I put that price at $950. And that ain't gonna be much of nothing, you know, compared to what we did on that other job. And this guy's got a bunch of work, and I like the guy. You know, he's just a decent enough type of a fella. Yeah, I put that price at $950. I think that's a fair enough price for that job. So we've got the deck job. That's gonna be Monday and Tuesday. And then I'm trying to put that drywall repair on for Wednesday and a piece of Thursday. And then there will be other work that we can do also. And then maybe if we can land this pergola painting gig, we can put that on for the middle toward the end of the week. And then I got one other little odd job that a guy reached out about, and that was like hanging a coat rack and changing an air filter in an HVAC system. Says he's handicapped, not laughing about that, but it's just really minute shit. What do you charge somebody for that? You know, 50 bucks? I have to have a, what do you call it, a minimum. And I'm trying to make my minimum like 150. And I think that I want it to be about 150 an hour, which would encompass me and my guy. Probably too steep. Probably not steep enough. You know, I'm sure that there's other people who have way higher minimums, but we just can't be coming out for nothing. Shit, I'll spend half of that in gas just getting out to the job if it was like a $50 job. So, gotta be a 150 minimum. Gonna try to have a decent weekend this weekend. Otherwise, rest and recuperate, get ready for this deck job. That will be a decent amount of work. Nothing too crazy, but definitely excited to get on that one. I think that that's going to be a really awesome job, and that's probably going to lead to even more. So here's the hope, and with that, let me go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the essentials, and I will share more with y'all just as soon as I can. Alrighty. I couldn't have picked a more wrinkled freaking shirt. Jeez Louise. And this is important, what I'm getting ready to do. Only reason I picked this shirt is because it's an old company shirt from my painting business and the job that I'm getting ready to look at. I need this guy to know that I know my shit. I'm not just some Craigslist freaking hack, that I am, actually. It's ironic that I am exactly that, but in some regards, I'm so much more than that, especially when it comes to painting and repairs. Pressure washing, landscaping. Ironically, two of the, you know, the easiest things that you could ever do. Joe ain't no whiz with that. I was doing the pressure washing yesterday, and people were letting me know all sorts of shit that I was doing wrong. I didn't know. Talking about you shouldn't blast the siding so close to it, and you should soft wash it. Made a lot of sense. I'm not, you know, saying that I had all the sense in regards to that, but when it comes to painting, I do. And drywall, I got a little bit of sense. So, saying all of that, we're gonna go look at this pergola painting job and door trim painting job. And I need this customer to know that this price is about to be $650. That is 1 day's worth of labor at $500 labor. And $150 in material, which is definitely pushing it a little close to the edge in terms of materials. There's no double cost on materials. I'm not trying to go that route unless I end up feeling froggy after meeting this guy. I've got no idea who I'm getting ready to go meet. I know the area. I know it's a decent enough area. It's a really decent enough area. It's a modest house. If you want that pergola painted and that door and them trim, it's going to be $650. The solid stain that I'll end up using, which is essentially like a paint stain, that shit's like $50 a gallon, 40-something dollars a gallon. And it doesn't matter whether I go with Valspar from Lowe's or whether I go with Sherwin-Williams version, which is either Woodscapes, which is even more than the Valspar, or deck something. I can't remember the name of the product, but it's virtually the same price as the Lowe's products. And all I need is like a gallon, maybe 2. So you're already looking at $100 just in staining products. And we shouldn't need much else in terms of materials. Some white semi-gloss exterior paint. I'm sure I've got some of that sitting at the storage unit, so no big deal there in terms of painting the door trim. But I got to figure out where I'm going because I got no freaking idea. And let's go see if we can land this job. We need to come across as good as we came across yesterday when we met with the guy for the ceiling repair. He took me very serious, you know, and I come across with no BS. I'm good. I'm grateful for that. I'm happy that that's the way that I come across. You know, I tell him I don't play the drugs and the drama. And you know what he told me? He said he respected me because of the ad that he read. He said, man, you know, because my ad is very truthful. I say I'm a guy that used to have a pretty large scale business, and it recently went out of business within the last year because I lost all of my work and I just couldn't afford the overhead anymore. I said, but now I'm trying to build back a little bit, much smaller. And he said, man, I hit you up because that resonated with me. He said, I've been in that situation before. And sometimes, man, when you don't try to oversell yourself, actually you should never try to do that. I guess maybe in some regards, you probably have to. But sometimes if you don't try to oversell yourself and you're just genuine and real about what it is that you're doing, what you got going on, some people might be willing to rock with that and respect it. Others might want to try to take advantage of it. And you never know. You know, knock on wood, every person that I've met thus far has been relatively decent. But I'm sure, give it time. Hey, we're gonna run across one. Either a shyster or maybe even something worse. All right, let's go look at this job and see if we can land it. All right, leaving from this neighborhood right here. And just secured that job for $650. Nothing to that at all. Gravy work. Another super solid guy, just looking for somebody he can count on. And that's what everybody that I've been meeting is seeming to be in need of. Either somebody they can count on or the absolute cheapest. But, you know, there's value in being reliable. Even if you are some sort of a jackleg. And when I say just like jackleg, I just mean, you know, a guy from Craigslist. But I was telling this homeowner, I said, you know, my business was primarily apartments, and I didn't really try to get much residential work. And all of a sudden now, that's all I'm getting is just a bunch of residential work. Man, if I would have tried like this back then, things would have been so much different. Damn, they would have been so much different. Whatever. You learn from the mistakes and you rebuild and rebrand and all of that. The guy took me very serious. I came across as serious as I intended to. No BS. I gave him the price right off the rip. After we looked at everything, I said, look, I'm sure you're, you know, curious as to what this would be. I said, it's going to be $650. You know, it's a day's worth of labor, and we're going to cover all materials in that price as well. And, you know, painting the gazebo, the little pergola thing, ain't shit. Ain't going to take half a day. And while I'm painting that, or Gene's painting that, the other one of us is going to be painting around a couple of door frames. I mean, it ain't nothing. Just some brick molding around some doors. And I told the man, I said, look, hey, you got some trim coming down this back patio, this back awning on your back deck. I said, we're going to paint that too, and we're going to do that on the house. I said, look, we just wrapped up this job where we did a bunch of landscape and pressure washed a whole bunch of stuff. I said, sir, your house could be pressure washed. But I'm not here to overpitch you on anything. Let us come in, do the work that you're requesting, that you're trying to get done right now. And if you like how we work, you know, let's talk about the pressure washing. He said, hey man, I got some drywall work in my garage I need done. Yo, when you go and you make a good impression, and that's what it is, man, you have to sell yourself. Don't sell the work as hard as you sell yourself. And if you're somebody who's doing the work yourself, I think it's that much easier to sell yourself. Hey, it's only gonna be me and my guy works just as hard as I do, if not harder. I'm excited about this, man. We've lined up like a week's worth of work already. Next week is ready to rock and roll. Man, if I could do every week like this, I'd be on to something. Hell yeah, man. We got a big deck job to do on Monday. Potentially a small drywall job to do on Wednesday, Thursday, but that's if we land it. I haven't sent that proposal yet. And then this job here. And if we don't land that drywall job, I'll look for other work. Keep looking. Don't never let up. All right, I think that's all I got for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and look forward to sharing more with you just as soon as I can. Until then, take care.